Digimon Ghost Game episode 16 brought back one of the more memorable villains from the original 1999 season Digimon Adventure, Cherrymon, the manipulative Digimon that tricked Matt into briefly turning against the others, leading to a fistfight with Tai. No gaslighting an 11-year-old into thinking all of his friends hate him in this episode, but Cherrymon is still super imposing due to a combination of the horror-themed writing and the surprisingly impressive animation on display in a handful of action sequences this week. We'll break down this episode, answer what on earth this Digimon is doing in Ghost Game, look at the other big moments and more. So welcome to the Digino. If by some chance it's your first time watching a video on my channel, we have Digimon content like episode reviews and more on a weekly basis, plus bonus videos like last week's video about how the new anime movie Belle has deep secret connections to Summer Wars and Digimon the movie. So go watch that. If you haven't, I would love to see that video get 10,000 views. It would mean a lot because I love that video and I'm really proud of it. It's at like 9.2k right now. But anyways, back to this week's topic. Episode 16 sees Hiro and Gamamon take a brotherly camping trip, just the two of them. It's something Hiro's dad used to do with him before he vanished. I like that we are still wrestling with the reality that only a few episodes ago, Gamamon had this really dark digivolution into the murderous and sadistic ghoulish Gamamon. And so while Hiro is watching this adorable little guy fish and play around in the woods, he's also wondering how this Digimon could possibly be the same as that ghoulish character. We hear about people going missing in the woods from the staff, and it doesn't take long before Hiro and Gamamon find themselves tangled up in the mystery. Cherrymon reveals itself, and not long after, another Digimon, Mori appears to offer our guys an escape. Mori just means forest or woods in Japanese, by the way. Mori says that he is essentially the guardian of the forest, and Cherrymon is a newcomer to the location who's been luring in humans, getting them lost in the woods, and then feeding on them for sustenance and strength. It's a pretty diabolical strategy, and another look at the different ways in the show, the different ways that Digimon can rely on human energy to grow in the series. They didn't specify if he was trying to digivolve or just get more powerful by consuming humans, but stay Cherrymon. But we don't get much time to talk about it all because Cherrymon reappears. Battle Gamamon, the red and fire-based Gamamon form, starts blasting Cherrymon, and Mori observes that, hey, that'll work, yeah, just burn him until he dies, which is not a great thing to ask a nice high schooler to do. Hiro is worried about pushing Gamamon to do something so dark because of what happened with ghoulish Gamamon a few weeks back, so he says he'll defend the forest, but he refuses to force Battle Gamamon to burn Cherrymon alive. Mori calls him weak and unable to commit, and around this time the others arrive, and we get 2 weeks in a row of the main Digimon partners teaming up in champion form. I'm super glad to see that they aren't going to be holding this back from us. Like in the Digimon Adventure 2020 reboot, while I enjoyed that show, they really held back on giving us all the Ultimates or Megas fighting at once so as to make it this big Avengers Assemble moment when it happened, but it was only maybe 3 or 4 times in the series. But the whole team uniting as champions 2 weeks in a row is a great indicator of what's to come, and the battle itself had some really gorgeous animation. I'm not the guy who breaks down which animators are responsible for which episode, but if you're curious, maybe check out Based Digimon. He's typically really great about crediting and praising the specific animators. No guarantee he'll do it this week, but it's a great channel nonetheless. And anyways, whoever worked on this episode, if you're watching, congratulations, you did an amazing job with this Cherrymon fight. We were able to break one of Cherrymon's arms, which sounds really violent when I say it out loud, but it wasn't super violent, and with his broken arm he retreats, so another Digimon Ghost Game villain who is still up to no good and hasn't changed his ways. Mori sees the kids back to their campgrounds and warns them, though he'll try to protect the woods himself if Cherrymon ever returns, he can't promise or commit to being able to protect everyone by himself. It's a little ominous for sure, and somewhat abrupt as both parties in this war for the woods are still out there. We really only won the battle, but not the war in this episode. Overall, I did like the theme of this episode, though the main story beat to take away being Hiro recommitting to the idea that killing Digimon isn't the path he's willing to go down, and specifically isn't willing to take Gamamon down that path with him, and that he believes he can solve the problem before a finishing blow is needed. It's a good lesson, obviously, for the younger viewers. We might, chuckle at it being adults, but younger kids might really benefit from hearing that, and it makes sense for his character. I'd be interested in seeing this backfire one time though, and having him wrestle with what happens when there truly is no other answer than to just ice the baddie. Maybe we'll get there in Ghost Game one day, but not this week. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this week's episode and what you think is next for these characters. Are the Ultimates coming up anytime soon? What even is the rest of this show? Like, we still don't know exactly how long it's going to run. If there are 60 plus episodes like Digimon Adventure 2020, then if that's the case, we're coming up on having a third of the show done. I don't think we need Ultimate Digimon just yet, but I think we need to start to see the main story moving. Like more about Hiro's dad, the digital world, the Black Tailmon Uber, Black Agumon, ghoulish Gamamon, and all that. There are all these puzzle pieces visible to us, but the show isn't ready to put the pieces together just yet, it seems, but hopefully soon. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do me that favor and check out the Bell Cross Digimon Cross Summer Wars video after this one if you haven't already. I think you'll really enjoy it. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.